guess Silencer, is this going to be like a 5-position Omni, or is it going to be like the 5-position Silencer, do you think?
Yeah. Dire team ban.
Okay. Yeah, and it's kind of a weird matchup against Puck, I guess. Because after he casts his orb, if you get last word, then that means he's not going to be able to jaunt to it as well, right?
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick.
All right. Well, final round of picks coming out now for IGV.
10 seconds remaining.
I kind of like the idea more of a silencer in the support role, just because I feel like it's going to be a strong laning hero to pair with the Weaver against the Abba. Maybe there's something else that could be even stronger than it, but I feel like if you take those glaives early, you can start harassing the Abba out of lane a little bit at least.
That's true. Yeah, the last word's pretty weak against him, but they are going to be going with that 5-position silencer to enable a Storm Spirit mid. This is something that very commonly comes out when an Omni Knight's on the field, because you repelled the Storm Spirit, and he's pretty much has nothing to be afraid of, especially against this lineup that where the Frostbite would usually be a tool to shut down a hero like Storm. You've just got a great way of breaking out of it and keep on doing your thing. So I think he's going to be very aggressive. It does mean Omni Knight needs a couple of early points of repel. It can't just like 1-point wonder it for a while. But I think that it's going to be pretty sick.
Well, they do have the answer at the end of the day. The anti-mage is there, and while it's great to have the repelled Storm Spirit, you need to make sure that you're not stepping too far forward and getting caught with the Frostbite when the Omni Knight's not able to be there in a position to save you. Because if anti-mage can get on top of this guy, it is going to be a problem. But with the Omni Knight lane and then a Monkey King there to maybe help out, do you think that IGV can maybe try and shut down this anti-mage's farm?
It really is hard to say at this point in time. I think that he'll do okay for himself. Warlock and Crystal Mitten are great heroes to have behind you with the continuous heal sustain. You'll maybe pick up early ring of health, and then it's actually going to be pretty difficult to batter you out of the lane. So I think AM should actually do pretty well here, but you never know. If you have a really good start, maybe a first blood on Bounty Rune, you can definitely build momentum with that. So for right now, I think the anti-mage is going to have a good game, but we'll have to wait and see.
All right, and again, game number 1, the final set of games for the evening or morning or wherever the heck it is that you are all over the world. For us, it's actually 10 o'clock in the morning. We've been up all night. You've been enjoying the Dota so far, though? There's a crazy amount of it.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Obviously, with the Swiss format, you're going to get a lot of matches at the same time just so that they can get it all out there because, frankly, like the only downside of this format is that it takes a lot of games just to get it all out there. But I think it's actually one of the coolest ways to see the groups of information.
I think that it was one of Freeze's most played heroes leading up to DAC and the Star Ladder and all those other tournaments where it was that VGJ really sort of started to take off in the qualifiers for the events and then, of course, at the actual events themselves, performing somewhat well. But yeah, FY going to place down a ward early on, make sure that he'll spot any of those rotations in from the Monkey King. Not sure where is he's going to get this in time? Oh, In July spots him. He doesn't get the ward down. Little awkward.
Yeah, unfortunate for FY here, just not able to get it. The movement speed's a limitation here. Even with the Windlace, you're just a naturally slow hero, so it doesn't end up working out. Work on almost any other support, but not the Crystal Mid. So ends up just putting in a very common reserve position here towards the bottom room.
As far as the Dire are concerned, Monkey King still does hold one observer ward, rather. They don't spot him out, but they will see In July. I don't think they can really do anything to try and get aggressive on these guys here. In July is always going to be able to just walk away from that one. And ward placed down to block out the camp and provide a little bit of vision. Maybe signaling the way that IGV want to play this.
So you do have a 4-man shield on both the Monkey King and the Omni Knight, so Dogfights is going to have a very in-your-face style. Dogfights is a very common component of the Orb of Venom. Like, he used to run like a lot of Orb of Venom Night Stalker, and pretty much anything else as far as a ganking, roaming hero that can go Orb of Venom. But here, he really is expecting to trade a lot of blows, so he is going to go for something that can kind of take a bit of a pounding, presumably up against the Abaddon up top.
Look at ROTK too. He's just getting so aggressive here early, and Dogfights knows what he wants to do. He's going to be heading over and trying to stop this taking of the creep wave. Doesn't manage to quite catch all of the creeps, ROTK, but still will be able to pull it past. There will probably be a couple more blows traded as he goes up the hill, but yeah, looks like they're able to walk away for the moment, and that melee creep is going to get away from him.
FY's got a good flank down bottom. They've already popped the Purification, so Silencer's going to be in some real trouble here. Body block come through, and that's going to be first blood for Aggressive.
Yeah, and Angela is now out of mana too. So really unfortunate start here for IGV, at least as far as the offlane's concerned. In mid, you're seeing the Puck get off to a good start too. 4-1 versus the 1-1 in Sakata, and actually going to dive forward for this. This is going to be second blood going the way of VGJ. They came to play.
Yeah, most definitely, and just not having a Fairy Fire available there is a costly error, as it's going to be Freeze to just go ahead and punish it. And how do you win bottom lane now? You have an out-of-mana Omni Knight, nowhere near the arcane boost that he's seeking. Level 1 Silencer with some decent glaive action, but Fenrir's got plenty of mana to work with here, and he's just going to either harass with Shadow Word or keep Aggressive sustained. It just seems like it's an impossible laning setup, and even see FY just move into the jungle and doing his thing there.
Yeah, time to rethink the way that they want to make this happen, and just going to be able to get the Dark Troll Summoner out after that kill. Certainly going to have a great time for Aggressive. They might be able to get a pull off here in a little bit, but in the meantime, they can just keep trading farm and get this guy to control. I will say that the aggressive anti-mage is not something that's often seen. I feel like this is not really his style of hero by and large. Right.
As much as he is a lot of the more active cores, like of course the Gyro comparable, I would have to say that he still is, I'm sure, capable as this hero. It's great against the Storm Spirit, and that Mana Void has been buffed so many times. Like, it's actually ridiculous what that spell can do now.
You can see up here in the top lane again, Paparazzi being harassed away by ROTK on this Abaddon, constantly in his face, and quite frustrating to deal with. Normally you'd be able to have a little bit more, and now with Dogfights picking up that Orb of Venom as you were mentioning, things might get a little bit easier as far as the zoning potential is there, but Abaddon's already level 3 and Monkey King's still stuck at level 1.
Yep, so we're going to even see an Invis play here at bottom, and I gotta say that just like I feel like the Silencer is almost wasting his time at this point. Like, he's trying to give Injali a decent laning phase, but if you're playing Omni Knight well enough in the offlane, the worst case scenario is like you have to repel. Oh, just going a super changing over Injali, a little weird. But yeah, with Omni Knight, you just repel and TP back to your tower if you have to. Like, you don't necessarily have to stick yourself out there and feel vulnerable. But if you have a buddy like Super Silencer here, it changes how you have to position yourself, because you have to be worried about him getting caught out too.
And now taking a look at the CS battle, continuing to be into the favor of that Puck. Got ROTK just going to TP out. The Boundless Strike, though, breaks it, and now maybe in some trouble. He is going to end up falling here, it looks like, as Paparazzi does have that last little bit, not able to get off the shield, and well, IGV get on the board.
Yep, so nice of them to drop in and get a pickup on the Weaver. Early magic 1 for him. So Paparazzi is going to be pretty active here. I don't expect him to be looking at this game as a farm fest. He really does want to just get a couple of items and get really involved.
Double damage.
Go. Super picks up the DD. Also see Sakata finishing off his bottle. Be able to farm this up fairly well. And Breeze, in the meantime, just bringing out a hell of a lot of items there. Full courier for him. And trying to get whatever he can to continue the spam out of his abilities. It looks like, though, with Super here, they want to try and secure a little bit more farm and see if they can get a kill on this Puck. Not exactly easy, particularly since he doesn't even have Last Word skilled up, Yao.
Yeah, it seems like he's going to be favoring one of the more harass-oriented builds. It's much harder to get a kill this way, but he is going to be able to at least make his presence known on the lanes. But we're 5 minutes in. He's not even like halfway through level 2. I feel like he's going to be relying pretty heavily on the Tome of Knowledge to propel him through this game.
And you know, I gotta say that these teams, they have a lot of history together also. You think back towards those qualifying events, and it was constantly VGJ that was beating out IGV, and most recently IGV ended up having a little bit more success at DAC when they finally did take them down 2-1. But it's still, I think, kind of this thing where it's been a back and forth, very much one of the few rivalries that's existing, and it happens in the Chinese scenes more often than others.
Oh, most definitely. They get a lot of different opportunities to kind of match up against one another, but it's nice to see that it's not completely one-sided and that IGV have shown some chops here and there. As far as the game stay goes right now, Crystal Maiden seems to be getting a decent bit. I mean, having got one successful gank, having some decent jungle to farm, really wants to put some damage into the mid lane. We already had like Cicada farming up the jungle, so it leaves Super to be the vulnerable here on mid.
He wants to maybe make movement back towards mid now. He's at the shrine. I guess that instead they'll run to Super, but he's already got a haste rune, so unlikely to find a kill there. FY, probably back to jungling again. The 2 points up in Frostbite, though, just to increase that duration to eventually find that kill on the Storm once he gets his level 6, I imagine.
Yeah, it's definitely to try to counteract that ball lightning. Also decent against the Weaver. Obviously, time lapse will still go through, but it's the only, like, Crystal Nova is actually a really bad spell against these two heroes. It's just either they're moving through their mana with the ball lightning, or Shikuchi gives them that maximum movement speed. So it's actually just better in this case for him to have the greater gank potential with the Frostbite.
Alright. Puck has level 7, like we were talking about. He's right up there now, and will run into the Storm Spirit, so a quick silence maybe? Okay.
Yeah, not enough damage though. They realize that, especially with the infused raindrops, it's going to be very difficult for them to actually find a kill on him, and Monkey King is waiting for an opportunity as well.
Oh. There's not really much to be done here. Again, it's all very elusive heroes, with the exception of like that silencer here for IGV, and then probably the Warlock CM are going to be the two that are killable for VGJ. But by and large, maybe a little bit of a different pace to the game than we saw in those last couple ones.
At this
Fenrir?
point in time, I'm trying to see when like
Dream Coil?
big fights would actually take out place. So it's going to be the mid pickup here, but having like Dream Coil just for the support silencer, it's a nice pickup for sure. It's just, I don't know when they're going to actually be able to expand to something much bigger. I guess when Freeze gets his Blink Dagger, and he's actually moving a lot faster than I thought towards it. He didn't drop off for the treads, so he's going to be able to buy that up in just like 700 gold.
And maybe that's a moment where you can make a movement. Like, if there was a hero to play anti-mage and actually try and find kills, it would be aggressive. I don't know if that's going to be the case in this game, though, as he does have the Battle Fury queued up. Probably just going to be looking to go to Farm Town after a while there.
Contribute with a Battle Fury all the same. It's not made to fight, but, you know, he's got like a 2-2-1 build right now. He gets a little bit extra damage with the Battle Fury, and
Okay.
contribute to the kills, even if he still wants to focus on farm primarily.
Think about this paparazzi build, going for the early hood in this game.
That's pretty interesting. I did notice that the dire side have 4 infused raindrops, so they do seem to be a little bit worried about this magical burst damage, particularly from the Puck. When the Puck gets Dagger and has max waning rift, he's able to go and just go blink, rift, coil, and set up a 3-second timing window where they can kill off the Weaver. So I suppose that he's just trying to create as much effective HP as possible to prevent that with his treads, his wand, and his hood, as well as, of course, the aforementioned infused raindrops.
Okay. And is the interaction with that you end up popping it like after reduction, or is it before reduction with the raindrops? I can't remember.
So it'll just take, basically, it'll reduce it, it'll check it, and then it'll just scrape that off. So it would be
okay.
reduction.
All right. So yeah, extra little bit of value there as well. Now CM popping the smoke now, gonna have that one ready and brought out to her. A lot of potential there for Ganks, as we've talked about with the build that she's gone for. The question is it really going to amount to anything until we get that Blink Dagger done for Freeze, which is actually about to be done as well. So, all right, there's might be a nice little timing here where they go up. And do you think the kill potential that you go on to is Weaver?
I mean, if you feel like you have enough heroes brought against them, then it could be good. But again, that Blink Silence is probably the most important way to make that happen, and they're going to notice if the puck's missing from the mid lane. So I just don't see that kill happening anytime soon.
All right. Fenrir is almost up to his level 6 now. Take a look at the other supports across the board, and IG Vitality haven't really been able to get as much levels onto their support. Still relatively close to it, though. So I guess now with Silencer getting mid for a little while longer, he gets some more for himself, and things are evening out. But very much the passive laning stage so far. 4 kills in 10 minutes, no objectives taken, and doesn't really seem to be changing anytime soon.
Yeah, so Silencer just got level 6 off the Tome of Knowledge, and that's based on the fact that he took the solo lane for that long. It actually cuts into Sakata's GPM, so he's going to have a slower Bloodstone pickup, but it helps out the Silencer tremendously. So, end of the day, Sakata takes one for the team. Super gets up to where he needs to be, and now we're just looking for that big fight. They have initiation tools. They have, obviously, the global online. It's just finding a target that's exposed.
Well, Freeze is going to find the kill in the dogfights. They brought him up there, and as you said, they realized IGV that Paparazzi could go down, so they brought him down to the bottom lane with a little bit of help from In July. They're going to apply some damage onto this tower, while Anti-Mage continues to farm out across the rest of the map, and everybody just willing to trade off these objectives. I will say that with Abaddon here as well, you have that Curse of Avernus. The tower will fall pretty quickly, I would imagine.
Yeah, you're going to be maxing that for the most part on the off lane, or this is a secondary, so no problem at all to drop this down, and even the Hand of Midas picked up for RTK, so really looking for a very potent build towards the mid to late game, and I actually think he's probably going to transition into Radiance.
It's weird. It's a very different style than what we've seen before, and I wonder, these LAN events are always opportunities for the matching styles to meet against each other and figure out what really is the new meta. I wonder how well this type of a draft would deal with like the heavy aggression that we saw from Thunderbirds, particularly considering that both of these teams have already lost a match.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely would struggle to an extent, but at the same time, like, it's the context of it, really. They're not going to be drafting, they're not going to be picking up a Midas Radiance on Abaddon or picking up an Anti-Mage if they're really worried about that kind of pressure. So I think it's just they prepare for their opponents, they're experienced in playing against IGV, and they know the tempo they need to kind of keep up with them. It's actually going to be going into Medallion for right now, and we'll see kind of if he wants to go for that utility like the Solar Crest emphasis, or if he wants to do something else. We're going to see multiple TPs to the Shrine, though. This could be a first kill in a while.
Yeah, FY, they will actually find the kill on a dogfight to the jump away from Freeze, but he's stuck up on the high ground now. Unfortunately, ended up auto-attacking, revealing his position. Thought about dropping everything onto him there to try and save the day, but Fenrir holds on, and puck falls for that Monkey King.
And FY jukes his way up to where the tower once stood and is able to TP out before Paparazzi closes in on him. So, gonna be not ideal, obviously, picking up only the support Monkey King for the puck, but a lot better than it could have been with all those rotations forced out.
Yeah. And Fenrir, good job holding on to that ultimate, too. You want to make sure that you save that so there can't be a follow-up pressure anywhere on the map, considering how important that ultimate is at this early stage in the game. Also 3 into Fatal Bonds, so the team fight potency from VGJ, it's going to be hard to match for a while from IGV, at least until you start getting some solid initiation combo together with the global.
Fatal Bonds is such a potent spell in the right hands. It was for a long time, a lot of the Warlock players would just straight up ignore it and focus only on Shadow Word, maybe some stats, and a little bit of upheaval as well. But Ice really brought back the Fatal Bonds max build, and it has so much to offer when you have some good AoE abilities. You have just like a couple of spells hitting multiple targets that are Fatal Bonded together, and they just drop so quickly. So looking forward to seeing that Fatal Bond Mana Void, or maybe even that Fatal Bond puck combo. Right now it's aggressive. Who gets too aggressive on a double damage rune, and he's going to be punished for it very heavily.
The blink into the DD rune, unfortunate, means he's going to lose his life there, and they comboed it together with the first global silence. A big pickup still. That was after the anti-mage finishes Battle Fury, so not able to slow down the timing of that any further.
Yep, so he's still going to keep on clipping away and finding himself at the top of net worth, but not as far ahead as he'd like to be, and just in general it's going to be IGV who can start kind of forming up to try to start taking towers. I mean, they still have this synergy that was talked about before, the potential to repel the Storm Spirit, but for right now it is just a level 1 repel, and it's going to be actually Omni Knight not only going for an Iron Talon, but following it up with a Hand of Midas itself.
Who was that now?
The Omni Knight.
Oh my goodness gracious, what is this guy doing? Is going for the mass farm. And yeah,
I mean,
it's
I
going to
looked
have
at
that done.
a recipe in an inventory with somebody that has that much gold, and I'm like, okay, cool, you're going to have a mechanism pretty soon. Those days are dead, man. Midas Gaming.
Yeah. What does the world come to? Midas Gaming on your anti-mage lineup, and then Radiance Abaddon. Well, actually, you ended up going for the Solar Crest, or at least the Medallion of Courage, but still. The point that stands. Midas for Crystal Maiden. We do have the Bloodstone done for the Storm Spirit. So maybe this is a lineup that could punish it a little bit, IG Vitality. Even though you do have that Midas on the Omni Knight, in spite of that, they can still probably get aggressive with this, maybe around the next Global Silence, or even just pulling back into Fenrir, trying to take them down. They have a good bit of damage, and well, FY able to dissuade Sakata from going any further.
Yeah, it's ROTK that really just can shut down so much of Silencer's damage. Both the Arcane Curse and the Last Word can be dispelled so easily, and so as long as Abaddon is not global, he's able to negate almost all the damage that Silencer's able to put out. So just good routine from him, and so far, very few kills this game.
Yeah. I feel like even though there is an anti-mage in this game, and we've seen how out of control this guy can get time and again, just a huge net worth lead, I still feel like a super farm Storm Spirit can cause a lot of issues for this VGJ draft.
Undoubtedly, yeah. I think that being able to rely on Repel here in particular just makes it so that the anti-mage isn't the Storm Slayer that he used to be. And we're actually going to see a pickup here on the puck. Very nicely done with the silence. It's going to be a very nice bonds.
All right, but they're able to get the global out to dissuade them from going any further. Also the Guardian Angel, keeping everybody alive. But they're still Fatal Bonds together. FY is there. There's the Mana Void, doing a good bit of damage. Wukong's command to try and separate this, and now Aggressive is going to fall. FY also in trouble. Sakata ends up getting that Overload proc with the Remnant after the fact. So it looked pretty for a second for VGJ, but they weren't able to make anything off of it.
Very nice move from Dogfights there. I was a little worried about the guy because he wasn't really being as active on the map as I'm familiar with. Like, from the beginning, when I started casting on VGP, I'm like, this guy is a ganker. He just loves to be in people's face, but it's been kind of put in a passive stance for the past 17 minutes. But finally, getting a chance to really show what he can do with the Boundless Strike and the Wukong's command, and turns the fight right back around. So AM comes, AM fights, AM dies, and this is exactly what IGV are looking for.
Probably the most important hero in the game right now, the Storm Spirits. 15 Bloodstone charges. And I guess likewise you have Weaver, who's going to start building into a Maelstrom, in fact. So more farming items for IGV, as well as some ability to take fights. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with later.
Yeah, I think that they want to start pressuring the map and trying to make it so that the aim doesn't have all this free space to farm. They know that they're not going to really be able to like close this one out until like somebody's picking up like a Hex or something along those lines. But they know that at the very least they can make it very difficult for VGJ to push out and for Aggressive to find what he's looking for.
So how highly do you rate Solar Crest? Because I'm seeing everybody talk about how broken this item is. Would you agree with that?
I think it's in its original state, it was extremely powerful. I think now things have changed a little bit. There's more ways to true strike, such as the Bloodthorn and things of that nature, that it's not the end of the world, but it does bring a lot of utility and a lot of bang for its buck, and it definitely has a reason to stick going.
Just another pickup here along the bottom lane. Sakata continuing to farm heroes. Currently 4, 1, and 2 with 16 Bloodstone charges.
Paparazzi's in a really good spot this game, though. I think he can just keep on pushing and not really be afraid of anything. He's got a lot of effective HP to work with. He just kind of gets to run around, do his own thing, and it's going to be going for the Mjolnir next, so he's just going to be able to keep on
Radiant's
pushing,
middle
pressuring,
tower
farming,
is under
killing.
attack.
I just think that as long as there's always a global available, he really doesn't have anything to worry about.
Now trying to bait this out a little bit. Does look like the Illusory Orb scouts out the dogfights is there.
Radiant structures.
That might be enough to stop VGJ from thinking about going on to this if they even had any aspirations to that end to begin with. And, well, repel. They take down the tower.
Has fallen.
Puck. Not able to do anything to stop it.
So at this point in time, we do have ourselves a nice little breaking point. We're 20 minutes in. It's about break even on network with a slight experience advantage towards IGV for their extra kills. Really not much to speak of at the moment unless we're looking at like next key objectives. I mean, we've got Roshan obviously still available. Neither team very quick at it, and both teams pretty decent at contesting it. So I think vision in that area is going to be pretty important. You might see some skirmishes break out over towards the Radiant Secret Shop.
And you can also tell that there's a little bit of that deep vision still remaining for the Radiant. They see that the courier is heading over to the west side of the map, revealing that there's, you know, a couple of heroes over here. But they could potentially give that information to either try and find a pickoff in the jungle or, you know, make a solid rotation and defend a tower. But it looks like right now, getting set up to take this fight against Paparazzi and In July. Oh, initiation from Freeze. They have the silence. Dream Coil is going to be dropped. They get the silence off before In July can cast anything. No repel this time around. Now the global silence to try and interrupt this fight, but In July is just going to walk away from it. So I don't know if the global is going to be able to keep In July alive. Like, ROTK is still chasing. FY is here as well. Paparazzi starting to deal out a good bit of damage. They do use the Guardian Angel, but Freeze is going to be here again. They get the Aphotic Shield pop to find the kill. Now Paparazzi trying to turn on to FY to take him down. The catch there is there with the Frostbite. Silence. Everything going to be dropped again. ROTK almost there. They aren't able to find the kill. They're able to instead turn this back around with Sakata coming in, and FY is going to fall. Now ROTK in some trouble. No more borrowed time. Has the bugs on him, and the Boundless Strike to finish it off.
And that just comes down to the exact amount of farm that this Weaver has. Having the effective HP from one Tread's Hood, it's exactly what he needed to survive just long enough to get the time lapse off, and they turn it hard. They don't lose their carry. In fact, they get a couple extra kills on top of it. And the Stern Spirit just makes a simple rotation and brings himself up to 19 plus stone charges. It's all about just surviving the initial damage output from VGJ and then turning it with the global, the time lapse, and really whatever you need in order to put VGJ in an overextended position.
Yeah, and now your Weaver is getting very close to finishing off the Diffusal Blade with the tier 1 tower about to go down. He does pop that pipe and now going to back out, excuse me, not pipe, the hood. So Sakata, 19 Bloodstone charges, almost completing the Orchid. They do deny the tower on VGJ, but what's the play for them now? Like, it feels as if they have to wait for that next chaotic offering to really make any type of a move around the map, or do you just keep farming on aggressive and call it good?
I mean, you definitely have to keep farming with him no matter what. Like, he's never going to keep pace if he just kind of hangs around for a fight. But he gets the VOTs up, he looks for his next move, and he'll look for just wave after wave after that. But sort of making an aggressive move to try to like take down towers, I really don't see that happening anytime soon. Freeze will look for pickoffs very commonly, and the Warlock will try to back him up, but OFY probably dead. Yeah, the bugs are going to chip him down. But I just don't see them like actually taking a forward movement towards certain objectives at this point in time.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, ROTK softening up those creeps for Mr. Aggressive.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Does
under attack.
have the kind of cool little gloves of haste picked up as well, casually. Do you think that he eventually sells those off since he doesn't end up wanting to go back for treads?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see those picked up. I mean, there's really not much you can do with them at this point. I have seen like Maelstrom or Mjolnir builds on anti-mages in the past, but just overall it's not really what he's looking for, so he'll just hang out with that. I think he just kind of changed his mind. It'll be probably just something he solves later.
Going for the Lincoln Sphere isn't... there's like one or two spells that it's good to go Lincolns instead of Ags, but it's like Sunder and Swap.
Yeah.
Besides that, I don't know. Seems a little bit odd to me as ROTK starting to tip down. We can come back to that session later as the ulti is going to be popped and then IGV just back out. What's the thought behind the Lincolns this game instead of Aghanims?
Actually, I was perfectly fine with it until you mentioned the Aghanims, which a lot of times might just slip people's minds, but it obviously is just like a combination of the Echo Shell and the Lincoln's effect. Like, he's just able to block out so much. So, yeah, kind of surprising that he doesn't opt for that instead. Because yeah, things like Orchid, things like the Electric Vortex, these are things that you'd be just as happy to reflect back as you want to have them negated. So Aghanims, I think, would just be superior and better, and there's a real chance that he just forgot about it.
Now there's the dive forward. Fenrir in a hell of a lot of trouble. Is going to fall now. Sakata taking some damage, but I don't think that's going to be enough to bring him down. And, well, guess what? He also has the Aegis on top of that. ROTK, borrowed time, about to be off cooldown now. So this could be at least a little bit of a saving grace for him as he does end up popping that now. Repel still on Storm Spirit to keep him alive. The damage is not going to be able to be enough to bring down Sakata. And, whoa, the Mana Void! Oh, my goodness gracious. All right. Time to back out, IGV. Think about your choices in life.
Yeah, they make the most of that Aegis, but jeez, was that a Mana Void. That spell is so damn strong.
No right clicks, 4,200 damage.
That works. I mean, there you go. But all the same, I mean, that's what the anti-mage is meant to do, and he does it very, very well. The only other point that I forgot to make about the Lincoln Sphere is you can cast it on allies. So let's say that you want to protect a freezing field, or you want to protect the puck in an overextended position. If you're confident in your own survivability, you definitely have the flexibility to throw it on somebody else.
Okay.
Let the fun begin.
Well, we'll come back to that later, see if it comes back to bite him at all in the butt. Of course, the Aegis is now down. Did you feel like... it felt to me sort of as if Sakata wanted the Aegis to pop, but just wanted to get the max value out of it. Do you think that it hurts them a little bit that they lost that Aegis so quickly after getting it?
I mean, they definitely would have wanted it to stick around a little bit longer here, but end of the day, I think they're okay with kind of just getting everything back online, getting everybody back together, continuing to build up with this double-handed Midas action. And are you serious? In July is actually going to go for a Radiance on Omni Knight.
Let's do it, baby.
All right, boys. Radiance anything at this point. Range Wisp, let's go. Come on.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know, dude. This new trend is something that just kind of blows my mind at this point in time, because Radiance has always been an amazing item, but it's just so damn expensive and in a lot of ways unrealistic to pick up. But if you can get in their face and not be punished too heavily by it, then yeah, by all means.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know if I would call it a utility item necessarily, because like you could say, oh yeah, the 15 mischance percentage, but nah, it's a weird one certainly. In the meantime, Anti-Mage going to pressure down the towers. He does take the tier 2 top. What are you missing out by not getting, or by getting this Radiance for in July? What would be the other choice for you that you would have liked?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is there's not really that much. I love blink mobility on a hero like Omni Knight. I think being able to get into the fight is really important. You often saw Ether Lens for the same reason. But right now, yeah, she just wants to be pretty high impact, pretty good overall damage output. So if you can feel confident against this anti-mage and not feel like you need to pipe or link into the Storm Spirit against him, then I guess it's fine.
All right. Well, 28 minutes into this game, we have IGV getting ready to just head down mid. And 20 Bloodstone charges on the Storm Spirits. He's almost got his Lincoln Sphere completed as well. Getting closer to it at the very least. And they're just going to get a tower. Not a whole lot to do to stop this, VGJ.
Yep, that was a pretty clean kill here. Might get the deny, but otherwise really no risk in pushing this out continuously. And a little bit of split pressure coming up top. The Anti-Mage Illusions will hang out and try to break down that tier 3. But it does mean that IGV have to worry about their mobility a little bit more. So, in fact, he's maybe even trolling around with the shift Q, but in July is going to go over for the Solar Crest himself. Okay.
I like that decision. Not that I don't love the Radiance, but you got to stop the stuff somewhere. I mean, come on now. Ooh, dogfights? Looking? Not finding. Freeze will get away. And Anti-Mage, after taking down the tier 2 towers on both of the side lanes, it is going to become a menace to deal with this hero. He's gotten those items that he needs to start to be hard to deal with.
Definitely. This puck is actually building up towards Dagon now, so Freeze really just looking for like first combo kills. Realized before, oh, I don't have enough damage to kill the Weaver. Let's just keep pushing the envelope on that. And if you can ever reach the threshold where you can just straight up kill people with one spell combo, then it's solid. But in general, it's a huge monetary investment where he's lacking utility. FY should just drop. He didn't frostbite, unfortunately. That means he just goes down. And in the meantime, up top, there is going to be Cicada looking for an opportunity.
It is a hard one to make work, and well, that was the blink used. Now they're going to be able to jump forward for the Cicada. Gets the Lincoln's pop. Now looking for more. He's not going to be able to contain him, though. So the blink coming off of cooldown, and no amount of control was going to be there to find the kill on the Anti-Mage.
So as it is, he goes ahead, keeps on working towards the butterfly, and yeah, doesn't have to worry about too much, at least for the moment here. None of the other heroes are really progressing too rapidly on the side of IGV. Obviously, the Storm Spirit's doing really well for himself. The Weaver is moving in towards a, looks like Eye of Scotty. So he's really playing the orbs. Okay, I guess there was a lot on the courier, so he does actually pick that up a lot faster than I expected. But yeah, he's got ice, lightning, mana burn. Really just trying to get the most out of these extra attacks. Obviously, the Scotty doesn't really fit with the re-application, but he's actually going to get comboed up here, and not going to be able to get that time-lapse off. Just gets killed off by the dual blink initiation. Oh, and now down over here in the jungle, Fenrir is also going to get found. So you find a couple of quick kills across the map. The Weaver, certainly a bigger one, and I don't know, do IG Vitality still think about going into the jungle for this? Not really afraid. And unfortunately, they're being watched, so it seems like VGJ are actually in a good spot to try to counter gank this if they feel good about it. The issues are that they do have some spells on cooldown. The Mana Void's still for 40, and that Dream Quill as well.
And speaking of Mana Void, Anti-Mage almost ready to hit level 25. He has his butterfly now. I don't know. This is the thing that's scary to me about the IGV game plan, is they basically just let this Anti-Mage get to the farm that he wants, and now you have to deal with that cooldown on the Mana Void. Is that something to be concerned about at all? Like, he's been able to deal a good amount of damage to the tier 3 towers as well.
Yeah, no, his full push and his overall survivability is something that's going to be harder and harder to deal with. He's even going in for an Eye of Scotty himself, just so that he can continue to tank up and keep applying some really good stats to Illusion. So all of this combined together, when he has that Scotty, it's going to be so hard to kill him. Like, he's just going to be able to sustain through a lot. And if he has Manta, he's just pretty much impossible to kill.
There's the Radiance done for the Abaddon. I'm starting to feel like this draft is going to be a very good timing for VGJ right now. The Mana Void cooldown, all of this mischance that they've got on the side of VGJ. And IGV, will they have what it takes to deal with it?
Hard to say. I mean, right now, it's been obviously a pretty chill game overall compared to what we're used to, but it has been very precise, I would say, in terms of movements for VGJ, and now a couple extra steps, what RTK finally has with that Radiance is like going to want to be just involved on the front line constantly, and I feel like they actually could try to like at least push out the mid-tier 2 with this, but pings are coming down bottom, at least showing some interest on that side.
Oh, and Paparazzi needs to be a little bit careful here. Obviously, one problem with this is no Lincoln Sphere. If they did decide to dive, could have been a big play, but, well, the call is just going to come to back out, and it looks like VGJ not going to test their luck any further. They are instead going to be moving over towards that Roche pit, still about 30 seconds away from respawning.
That would be a very scary dive to do, because you have shrines right there. You have to remember that you're up against the silencer, so the global coming out. Of course, he like self-fuels. Fenrir just picked up again. I think that was actually they will be able to bring him down, and should be TPing back to base immediately to prevent any trap push from coming through.
Paparazzi might have just found and killed off FY. The damage not quite going to be there. And the end result is, again, that pickup on Warlock, 30 seconds gone. Global also going to drop back over towards the base, and Trying to chase down, kill off aggressive. They're pulling him back in. Paparazzi is there as well on top of aggressive. There's the jump away. The blink is gone. Takada still has a lot of mana, but it's a little bit trepidatious about chasing down this aggressive anti-mage. Do not want to get mana voided.
Stupendous.
Yeah, and that mana void, now that he's level 25, is going to be only a 20-second cooldown. So a lot of potential value with the spell, just being able to drop it multiple times in a fight potentially. It's just pretty ridiculous, but all the same, yeah, we have IGB taking the map as expected, but Radiant are going to be the ones moving into Roshan. The Curse of Avernus, the Solar Crest, and it's going to be Roche falling, and Aegis going the way of aggressive.
Oh, Paparazzi is going to be safe as well. But yeah, this is feeling more and more like VGJ in the soon-to-be driver's seat. I'm pretty concerned about IG Vitality's lineup now. This is one of those moments where start to think about tearing down these lanes and what else do they really need to put themselves over the top? Not a whole lot.
I mean, they have the Aegis, so they might as well put some damage in the 2-2 mid in the meantime, but you have to expect all these bubbles to come out, and actually he's just going to try to isolate the Warlock and make sure he can't get his ulti out.
Oh, the silence on it too. They have the repel still. They're going to be stunned through it. Mana Void soon to come out as well. Sakata in trouble and going to drop. They also have the freezing field down there. The chase is going to continue. Aggressive has the Mana Void off cooldown again in 14 seconds, but honestly, Super Risk might end up going down regardless. No answer here. The Storm Spirit is going to be back up in 6 seconds, but you look over to the side, Paparazzi still trying to find kills. They're chasing. They're looking. FY's got him. There's the catch. ROTK also in trouble. Another Mana Void. They found him there as well. Sakata jumps in. The aggressive was right there with them. Does not have another Mana Void for 10 seconds, but Sakata has to back out. Far too scary. So a 2-for-3 exchange, and still the AM lives, large and in charge with the Aegis.
Yeah, nice stun coming up from Monkey, but not enough when you have heroes like Anti-Mage who can just stay on top of somebody for so long. And yeah, and there's no escaping it. The tier 3 is now going to be dropping very quickly. He says, I don't even care what the tier 3, on mid, I'll go up top. Clear that one out too.
Yeah.
See, they're just trying to force the Weaver buyback, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Paparazzi remains.
Oh, nice deny. All right, now they back out after the buyback from the Weaver. They have caught on to ROTK. Paparazzi still dealing damage to aggressive. Sakata needs to be careful about the Mana Void, but ROTK being controlled. Frostbite on a Paparazzi. Aggressive turns to fight. Diffusal Blade is there as well. They have that global silence down, but immediately Manta's out of it, and now Chase is going to continue. They have no more diffusal charges on Paparazzi, so they can't control that aggressive anti-mage any further, but they might still be able to run him down as ROTK is going to drop. VGJ has gone too far and now will be punished, but can they kill anti-mage a second time with Warlock walking back in? He has a Glimmer Cape there as well as the CM in the area. Aggressive trying to blink out. They get the freezing field off. It's so huge. Is it going to be enough damage though? I don't know if it's going to be there. Aggressive pops another Mana Void. FY is finally going to fall now. He did a ton in that team fight. Now Fenrir ends up giving away his life as well. A team fight that never ends. The hell?
Really doesn't. We've been all over the map at this point within the past couple of minutes, just fighting constantly, putting out a lot of damage there. That freezing field did 2,700 damage, and that's not even counting the fatal bonds that are amplifying it in crazy amount of damage. But in the end, it's not focused. So only the Weaver gets finished off by the puck, and after that, they end up losing a bit. So puts them in a really awkward position. Anti-Mage is going to be buying that Abyssal to stay on target rather than the Eye of Scotty, and that seems to be the best choice he can make. Just needs to find a way, either an extra way to break Lincoln's or just a way to stay on his target and get that mana pool drained. I mean, even if he doesn't pop with the Mana Void, like it looks flashy, but honestly, if you just take all the mana away from the Storm Spirit, that might just be enough for the fight anyways.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also one of those situations where you have Storm Spirit like this one big item in the Bloodthorn that does a lot of damage, but if you don't get that debuff applied, it's also kind of losing out on some of the value of an already expensive item. He is going to be going back now for the he was debating between Sheepstick and Shiva's Garden. I think he still, at least for now, has Sheepstick queued up. I don't know. We'll have to see how that works. If they do have a way to just shut down and kill off this AM, that's where all of the team fight it comes from for VGJ.
Absolutely, but at least for right now, it is going to be them taking down Shrines. They've already taken the top tier 3, so that's easy peasy. And And it does go back for the Radiance. So Midas, Solar Crest, Radiance. I learned it from watching you, says in July to RTK. As we have some pretty parallel builds coming out from the offlaners. But yeah, at this point in time, it's mostly just for allowing him to push out the waves further. He is actually going to be looking for a Silver Edge in the long term, which we've seen work wonders against the Abaddon, but also potentially against the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, would be quite good taking off that. And I guess maybe that's one of the thoughts too about going for the Lincolns over the Aghanims, is that it would dispel the Spell Shield's ability to use that if you got a Silver Edge on it, and they thought, you know, maybe eventually there's going to be a Silver Edge coming out for the Abaddon.
Yeah, I mean...
That might be too next level.
I can't imagine looking at the Dire Draft and saying, yeah, there's a Silver Edge on one of those heroes. That just doesn't make fucking sense, dude.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, there we go. And one day this Omni Knight will be hitting away with some invisible swords or something. I don't even know. But at this point in time, we do have VGJ. They're pretty clumped. They're pretty grouped together, but they're very confident in where they can be on the map. Just because the Shrine Control, the General Ward action, and just the fact that the waves are so constantly pushed out.
So, speaking of waves being pushed out, VGJ going to push it with a little bit of Radiance. There is a ping from the Warlock saying, yo, they are coming this way. Let's prep for this. Aggressive, maybe going to be the one to bait with ROTK there. The wraparound is coming from IGV. They want to take this fight on their terms. FY going to be the one to possibly break that smoke, and now immediately on top of him, no, able to get the blink away, so the initiation comes out a little bit off the mark. They get the stun, or try the silence there onto FY, but now the follow-up stun comes out from Fenrir. They immediately manta off, and they've caught now onto Aggressive. Can they bring him down in time? The bashes are there. They do have the Guardian Angel trying to keep him alive, but they're able to bring it down. A big Dream Coil connects onto 4. A ton of damage coming out of dogfights. ROTK able to lift all this. The Mana Void is enough. They take down Sakata as well. 3 are dead for IG Vitality, though they have lost the CM and the Warlock. IGV lose far more. Paparazzi trying to desperately escape from this one, but can they kick him down? There's going to be the time lapse back. Maybe Freeze has caught eyes on him. They have that gem now. The silence, a lot of damage coming from Paparazzi. They still can't keep control of this guy. Abyssal Blade is there. They do kill off the puck, but Paparazzi pays.
Man, this Anti-Mage pick is just showing how amazing it can potentially be. Like, obviously it was a bit of a head scratcher at first, just because the overall aspect of the draft seemed to be asking for a different answer, something much more direct and early game in his damage output, but AM, man, 2 amazing Mana Voids there. Mostly the one on the Storm Spirits have been just so tremendous in terms of really turning these fights in their heads, and it's just such a unique ultimate, such a unique component that only AM brings.
And the other thing too is now you can have Storm Spirit there trying to cut the creep waves and everything, but they don't have buyback on Weaver for another 50 seconds. And if you thought the split pushing was rough beforehand, now that they actually have a lane of barracks going into their way, all the tier 3 down, IG Vitality are going to be struggling for answers.
Absolutely. This is just a point of no return to an extent if they can't really find something within the next few minutes in terms of just building themselves up like crazy. I mean, you have the Storm Spirit looking for the Scythe of Ice on top of the Bloodthorn, but it's just coming out too slowly, and Aggressive is still right back in mid.
He doesn't give a damn. This guy, very large and in charge. They catch onto him, but you still have that Warlock that's there to pop out a Glimmer Cape if they need to. There's the blink away as soon as Wukong's command comes out. Aggressive still able to hit the barracks in spite of that ulti from the Monkey King. And gonna continue the pressure with that Scotty, with the butterfly. There's just no answer. And I think that this potentially is it, as VGJ jump on top of Super, take him down almost. Yeah, he's gonna end up falling there. This one is looking just about as big in the bag as it can be. FY getting gone on, as to is Fenrir. They take both of those heroes down. Aggressive still chasing. Good for Paparazzi. Not able to find him there as of yet. They do have another Mana Void that's going to be off cooldown. Just a second. Paparazzi stunned. That is a ton of a duration. ROTK there. They take down the Weaver. Does that buyback this time? Doesn't matter.
In the meantime, Aggressive finds the Mega Creeps, and means that no matter what happens in this fight, VGJ come out ahead.
ROTK will drop. They're buying back on ROTK to get into this one. Paparazzi also bought back.
is under
Maybe if they could take down aggressive here. He does have buyback though, and seems unlikely to end up going. They get the Mana Void again. Aggressive, killing off and countering Sakata. So over and over again, IGV running at these heroes. They are probably going to end up losing ROTK here. And
Oh no,
Freeze,
Gretzky's back in. He's got the Mana Void up in just 3 seconds. Needs to get it here onto Sakata. Can he find it? Will pop it and
Bam,
get two.
baby. That's going to be the super dead again. 70 seconds without these heroes. Dogfight still trying to man up. Aggressive will not be denied. A triple kill. In July going down. An ultra kill. Give that man a rampage. He does have another Abyssal Blade. Paparazzi is going to run and hide. He knows what's happening. He knows what's up.
This is the
VGJ
Abyssal.
came to play.
No rampage for him, but the GG is a victory.
That's going to do it. VGJ take the win over IG.